Hello everyone and welcome to the new episode of the Darktable. In this episode I would like to demonstrate again how the channel mixer works, but this time with another approach which I hope is visually more intuitive, because I have noticed that some of the viewers from my last episode have difficulties to understand. And if we have enough time, we will later start another topic about how to deal with photos that have a high dynamic range in Darktable. But let us see if we can have enough time for that. And let's get started. For this demonstration, I will use GIMP because it will be easier to visualize what I would like to address. And first we will talk a little bit about basics, how we can combine these three main color channels to get that colorful image. And after that we will talk about channel mixer and how channel mixer works by combining those three channels. So let's start with basics. As you can see, we have our photo from the last episode and this schematic, which can help us to see what is going on. And we will start with one easy example, so we don't want to have that photo. I need to have three separate layers with those three channels. So I will delete first our photo, so that we have poor white. Now I will duplicate twice that layer, and as you can see in the schematic, if we have white, we have combination of three main channels together with the same value. Now I need to have those channels separated on each layer, so I need to remove on each layer other two channels. So let's start with red. I can, by the way, call it red, green, and blue. And now we will start with red. So we need to go to the colors, curves. We can use something else, but I will use curves for that because it's easier. Now we will leave red, but remove green and blue channel. Now we have poor red here. Same here in the green. So we need to go to the curves, remove red and blue channel, and now we will have green. And same for the blue one. So we go to the curves, remove red and also remove green and leave only blue channel, and we have those three layers separated to three different channels. Now to be able to get our white back, we need to combine them now, and we combine it by addition of each other. So we have a nice option in GIMP to add that blend mode addition. Now we will add those channels back together. Addition also there. And you can see now we have added them together and we have white again. So we have this situation where all three channels are the same and added together to be able to get that white color. Let's duplicate that now and start play a little bit with the channels to see what is going on. So let us see what is happening when we disable one of the channels. Now when we disable a red channel, we have that cyan. You can also recognize that on the graphics here. So if we don't have the red, we have only combination between blue and green, and then we have that cyan color. Well, let's disable green, and now we have magenta. That means when we don't have green, we have blue and red combination. Both have the same value. And now if I disable blue, we have that yellow. That means when we don't have blue channel, we have only combination between red and green, and if red and green have the same value, we will have some yellow. Okay, but what I mean when I disabling the channel, I mean we are lowering that value to 0. I can do that just by disabling it in GIMP, but I can also use, for example, curves and go with the value from that 255 to 0. As you can see, I have disabled now the red so that we have that cyan, but I have disabled it that way that I practically darken it to 0, and 0 is black. We can do that also another way, and that way will be interesting when we're dealing with channel mixer. So I can add or duplicate the red channel, and as you remember before, I have used addition blend mode, so I have added that channel to the others, and now I can use the duplicate of the red channel, and instead to use addition, I can use subtraction, and we have the same effect. We have practically duplicate our red and subtract it from itself, so we have also 0. Now I can go and merge those two layers, and now I also need to add it to the rest. So go to addition, and we have the same situation as before when I have disabled the red channel. Okay, so let's go back. Now, how do we have A, gray, we have now white, and B, how do we have, or how can we get another colors? To be able to get gray, we can also look at our graphics here, and as you now know, if all three channels have the same value, in this case maximum, we will get white. If we want to have gray, we need to lower the brightness of all three channels, or you can say we need to lower the value of all three channels equally, so that we can have some neutral color, that we don't mess with the ratio of all three channels. So let's demonstrate that real quick. I will now darken all three channels with the same amount. So we will use colors, curves, and I will say something there, the half of the brightness. For red, see how we are messing now with the colors, but it will change when I also darken those two channels. So let's repeat that. I can use repeat curves for each channel so that you have same amount of darkening. And now we have mid-gray. So if you're darkening or all three channels equally, we will have some neutral color, gray, mid-gray or dark gray or whatever. Okay, but how can we get other colors than those 6 colors what we have here? Something like, I don't know, something like skin color, that orangey brownish. So let's duplicate our photo again, and let's play again with the values of our three channels. But how? So we can try intuitively to see if we can find some solution by looking at our graphics. And I will guess, if you want to have some orangey or brownish tone, that brownish tone have a lot of red there. And I will guess that brownish tone is some kind of yellow with a bit more red than green there. So that means we can get that tone if we have the high amount of red, a little bit lower green, and lowest blue. So let's try to mimic that. So let's start with blue channel and lower the brightness of that channel. So get down, I don't know, maybe here. Maybe also a little lower, something like that. It's almost dark, but we have some blue there. And now we will also lower the green channel, but not too much. And we don't touch the red. Red should be highest. So let's go to the green channel, colors, curves, go down, and voila. You see, I haven't darkened that green channel as blue, somewhere in the middle here. And now we have practically quite similar color to the skin tone. And now what we can see is that if you want to have that brownish or orangey tone, the value of the red channel is the highest. Then we have a little bit lower green and almost no blue, or quite a little bit of blue. So brightest, middle bright, and darkest. You can remember that because it will be interesting when we now making next step. Now that we know how we can influence the color of our image by adjusting the brightness of each of our main color channels, we will go now back to our photo and we will separate it to the three different channels and analyze it a little bit. So let's start with duplication. I will duplicate it 3 times, and similar to our white image, I will remove the channels. First leave the red and remove the green and blue, so that we have the red channel first. Then we will remove red and blue, and our second layer, and on our bottom layer we will remove red and green. Okay, let's rename them. Red, green, and blue. And now we will analyze a little bit the brightness of all 3 channels. To be able to analyze the brightness of our 3 channels, I will make a duplicate of that image and saturate each of these 3 channels so we can have a bit more, can judge the brightness a bit better. So let's start with the first one. I can use for that mono mixer and repeat it to all two other channels, and also for the blue. And now you can immediately recognize that we have three different brightnesses. Now note the difference between background and the skin. In the red channel, the skin is brightest, you can see. In the green channel is a little bit darker, and in the blue channel is the darkest. That's practically what we had when we want to get that brownish tone. In the skin part, only in the skin part, remember, we have the highest red, then a little bit lower the green, and darkest blue. So we can recognize that quite nicely here. You see, we have high amount of red, or the red is brightest. Then we have that green, which is a bit lower, and almost no blue in that part where we have the skin. But in those other area and the background, we have almost the same brightness on each channel. I think it's only the green channel is a little bit darker here. So that is how you can recognize through the brightness of the channel how high amount of that particular channels you have in different areas of the channel. That means if higher brightness means also the higher value. So when we go back now to our main photo with our three channels with corresponding colors, you can also recognize that the red channel is on the skin highest in brightness, and on the green is a little bit darker than background, and on the blue is almost no blue in the skin, but a lot of blue we have in the background because the brightness is there quite high. So let's combine those three channels now with addition blend mode so that we get our photo back, and you can recognize immediately that representation, that fact now that we have almost no blue in the skin. You can see that there, a little bit of green, but quite a lot of red. So that is how we combine, or how that three channels are combined in our photo. Now I will duplicate this one also, and what I will do now is I will add to our red channel two more layers of red, but this time I will use the brightness of green and brightness of blue for those two layers. So let me do that, and we can talk about that later. So instead of addition, I will go back to normal in all channels, and now I will use HSL color so that I take that color to the green but without influencing the brightness, and now I can create a new layer from that. And I will also do the same with the blue channel. So create a new layer from visible. And now I will connect all three together and disconnect those two, from which I made by borrowing practically the brightness of those two green and blue channels. So let's go back with our addition addition. Now we have nothing is changed because those two layers which I added now are disabled. And let's see what happens. If I now enable the blue channel, or let's say the red channel but with brightness of the blue channel, let's call it also that. Let's give it some other name. I will call it blue to red. Maybe we also call this one green to red. Okay. And I will also enable addition. Now I have some strange color here. What we have here now is following. I will put that down. I will now go to the channel mixer in GIMP. Enable it. So we have similar to in the Darktable, we have a red channel, green channel and blue channel. And we have 3 sliders on each channel. First is red in red. In Darktable, I think it's called, let me see, input red, input green, input blue. So let's go back to here. So what we have now is first one. This is our original, let's say original color, original channel. That is this one red in red, or in Darktable it's called input red. And second one is so-called green in red, and that is in Darktable input green. And the third one is now blue in red, or in Darktable input blue. I'll go back to show you. So you have input red, input green, input blue. Those input green and input blue are practically representation of the brightness of those 2 channels in the all red channel, as you can see here clearly. So we have a red channel, but we have 2 other options which can be used for combining the colors. And what I have done now, I have added to our main red channel that blue to red part. So let's demonstrate that with channel mixer. We are going to this one. So I will duplicate it, and now I will go to the channel mixer. I will use channel mixer again. Let's brighten it a little bit. What I have done, I have added to our main channel, red in red channel, I have added that blue in red. So let's do that here. Let's go to the one. You see now we have a red in red channel and blue in red channel activated on the red channel, and we have that look as you can see here. Let's say OK, and you will see it's identical to this one, because now we have 2 red channels. One is the original with that ratio of the red channel, and now we have that brightness ratio of the blue channel also activated and added to the equation. But now we can remove that blue part from our equation. Let's do that. Instead of addition, we can use subtraction. And now we have this situation. Let's do that also with channel mixer. where we have our here duplicated layer. Now I will apply the same thing with channel mixer. So we go to colors, components, channel mixer. Let's brighten it a little bit. And now I will subtract from our red channel here blue in red channel. So I will go to -1. And you see, I have the same look here. So let's say OK, as in our photo here. So I practically dilated the amount of red with blue to red from our red channel. And why do we have such kind of colors? So let's analyze our situation now quite carefully. I will disable that subtraction layer here, so that we have original photo now. And as we know now that no matter what kind of channel we have, if we have one channel where we have quite dark pixels, on those area we have also quite low value of that channel, low value of the color of the channel. In this case, we had in skin tones, when we see the blue channel, quite dark pixels. That means in those areas we don't have much blue, because we also have that quite low value of the blue there. Now what we have done, we have practically create one new layer of red, or one new kind of copy of red channel here, but we have used that brightness ratio of the red. When we analyze now that layer, we see that in the background we have quite a lot of red, but in the skin tones we have almost no red, similar to the blue channel. But now we're talking about red channel. And now we have used this one to neutralize the red, or to subtract it from our original channel. And because we have quite a lot of red there in background, we have also removed that quite a lot of red from our original channel layer, or the original channel. But in the skin tone, we don't have, in this blue to red, we don't have too much red, so we didn't delete a lot of red there in the skin. So we practically have neutralized the background, so that in background we have almost no red, so that we have only that cyan color. But through the fact that we borrowed that brightness from the blue channel, we also don't have too much red in this layer, which have been used in the skin of this layer, which have been used for subtraction from our original layer. So that means we didn't remove too much red from our original red channel. And that is how the channel mixer works. Now, if I want to white balance our photo, let's go back to here, no, there. Let's add, let's duplicate our main layer again. Now I can use channel mixer for that. And since we now know that our blue channel, or blue in red channel, have quite a lot of red in the background, but not so much in the skin, we can use this one to remove the reddish part of our background by subtracting it from our original layer. Let's say something about there. From our original red channel. And now we have white balanced our photo without removing too much from red in the skin. If I did that oppositely, if I have used our main channel or main ratio from our channel, I will remove also quite a lot of red because our main red channel has quite a lot of red in the skin. So let's reset it again, go back, and I will say that looks quite nice now. We have grayish background, but we didn't lose too much red in the skin because we have used practically that brightness ratio from the blue, borrow it to remove a red from our red channel. So the similar thing we can do also here. So let's say we don't want to go to -1. We want only just only a bit subtraction here from our original channel. So I can go to colors, curves, and lower the whole ratio of that layer down until I have that gray background. And now we have corrected our white balance with help of that brightness of the blue channel. You see? This is our photo, which is white balanced with channel mixer, and at the same with this kind of presentation. Okay, I hope now that you understand a little bit more how the channel mixer works, because now you have the possibility to use not only the main color channel for mixing, but also the ratios. That is what I mean under the ratios. The brightness ratios of other color channels. Of course, to be able to demonstrate it completely, I should also add the brightness of the red channel to the green, so that we have also in green that brightness of the red, green and blue, and also in the blue. But I hope it's enough for this demonstration to be able to understand the channel mixer if we only use that red part, that red part of the channel mixer, the first one. Okay, I think that's enough for this episode, because it's quite a lot of talking and a lot of informations. So if you have some questions, please be free to ask it in the comment section of YouTube channel, or go to the pixel.s in discussion forum there, and I will be happy to answer them. So to the next episode, bye bye.